Okay guys, and today, in today's chess game, I'm going to look at getting a checkmate, um, because your opponent didn't notice they actually had checkmate first. Okay, and I'm not talking several moves later, I'm talking about on the very next move. Now, okay, when I say checkmate, I mean a guaranteed checkmate. So, instant checkmate instead of a guaranteed checkmate by your opponent. Now, what I mean by guaranteed checkmate, I know there's probably fancy terms for this, and I can't remember the fancy term off the top of my head, is where somebody makes a move, and from there on, the opponent cannot avoid checkmate. It is not possible at all, no matter what they do, to avoid checkmate, because there's only one move they can do, or only specific moves they're able to do. Anyway, let's look at the board it is now, and it's black to move. Black decides to castle. Black castling is both what gives it the advantage later of being able to have a guaranteed checkmate, and also their downfall because their king is trapped. More on that in a moment. So that was what black did. I immediately noticed the checkmate threat, so I moved the queen in the way, so that if, for example, the queen took the pawn, the queen would take the queen, the rook would take my queen, I could then take the rook, but at least the game could carry on without there being a guaranteed checkmate. Okay? For some strange reason, black did that. Maybe they felt trapped, I don't know. The next thing I did was move the bishop to put him into check. They then moved their king out of the way. There was nothing else they could do. I then moved my knight out of the way, even though this was probably pointless, and later analysing it was pointless, but this was to try and long term give my queen some breathing, my king some breathing space, okay? And also a distraction, to be honest, because my opponent might wonder what I'd done or why I'd done it. The next move, on the surface, seems brilliant, okay? They're now threatening my queen. Okay? But what they didn't realise was I'd hoped they had done something which would encourage me to move my queen in such a way that it wouldn't be obvious what I was up to. You see, I'd rather hoped that they hadn't spotted the checkmate that they could do if the queen was moved out of the way. And I wanted to make it look as if I was just moving the queen out of the way because I didn't want to lose the queen. But in reality, I'm preparing for checkmate. I'm white, by the way, in this game and in real life, okay? So I moved my queen there. Now, technically, this is a massive blunder by me, because, as I said, now the queen is no longer protecting the pawn, my opponent has guaranteed checkmate. They can immediately checkmate me now if they're willing to sacrifice their queen, and I will show that later. Instead, they thought that my bishop was a threat, and they thought they would try and take my bishop off instead. So they moved their king down to the bishop. This was a catastrophic move. They should have gone for the guaranteed checkmate when they had it. My next move was to move the queen next to the king. Checkmate. Bear in mind, they already had a guaranteed checkmate if they hadn't moved their king. So I'm going to show you the guaranteed checkmate that they actually did have. And I could not have stopped it at all. If instead they had moved the queen all the way down to here, it would have been check. I could not have taken the queen off at this time. I cannot move anything in the way. I have no choice but to move the king. I can only move it to this square. There is nothing else I can possibly do. Now, you're going to see a queen sacrifice. Okay? The next move that they should have done then is to move their queen down to the bottom. Check. They will now lose their queen, however, by doing so. So this would be a queen sacrifice. Again, I have no other alternative move. I have no choice but to take the queen off with my rook. There is no other move I can do. I cannot move the king. I can't move anything in front of the king. I have no choice but to take the queen off. It is the only legal move. So now they've lost their queen. This is an example of when a queen sacrifice is brilliant. And the next move would be their rook would then take my rook, and there you have checkmate. I cannot take the rook off, and I cannot move my king out of check. So they actually had a guaranteed checkmate. And they squandered it by trying to move their king so that they could take a bishop. But as I said, the consequence of trying to take the bishop was, instead of them having a guaranteed checkmate, which I couldn't stop, they instead let me checkmate them instead. Checkmate instead of checkmate is rare in chess, and you've just seen an example of that with a real game that I played in real life. Well, not real. I mean, I played it on the internet. I didn't play them in person. You know, I wasn't sitting next to them, you know, playing over a table. But you get my point, you know. But I mean, you know, this was not. I did not set this up. I did not set up the position. This was a real game I played on chess.com. Okay. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye.